Okay.
Okay.
36 District Court is back in session with the Honorable Reagan Evans presiding. While court's in session, no reading, walking around, sleeping, talking, eating. When your name is called, please unmute your device if you didn't give your full and undivided attention to the court. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is the People versus Jermaine Rooks. Ticket number U635028222. Operate adult use marijuana establishment.
Okay. Yep. Sorry.
Please say your name for the record.
Tamika Horn, appearing on behalf of the people, P70303.
Your Honor, Pauline Soroki on behalf of Mr. Rooks.
Sir, state your name, Mr. Rooks.
Jermaine Rooks.
Okay, and Your Honor, we also have our complaining officer. Sergeant, would you please state your name and badge number for the record?
Sergeant Marcus Cummings, badge S367 of the Detroit Police Department's 11th precinct.
Thank you.
All right, are there any pre-trial matters before we proceed?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Waive your opening statement, Ms. Horn.
Yes, waive opening statement.
Ms. Soroki, waive.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you call your first witness.
Okay. And the people would like to call its first witness, Sergeant Cummings.
Sergeant Cummings, can you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. You may proceed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant Cummings, where are you currently employed?
I'm employed by the Detroit Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer?
I've been a police officer for 22 and a little over half years.
Okay. And as it pertains to the subject matter of this case, please describe any training you've received.
I've received extensive training on city ordinances, training on dealing with marijuana facilities, dealing with city ordinances with noise violations and things of that nature. So I'm pretty well versed in miscellaneous ordinances from the city of Detroit.
Okay, and are you familiar, have you received training as far as narcotics training in your history?
Oh yeah, I've done over my almost 23 years from felony narcotics to misdemeanor narcotics. I've done a lot of training and I've made a lot of narcotics arrests.
And specifically as it pertains to the subject matter here, which is, as the ticket states, under ordinance 20-6-31A, what specifically do you recall about your training as to dealing with marijuana?
As far as licensing is concerned?
I guess you would say identifying marijuana.
Oh, identifying, I've had from training and prior experience, I can identify the smell of unburnt and burnt marijuana, the smell of the difference of marijuana from it being any other item, any other thing being burned as opposed to marijuana. So I have a lot of training in that.
And were you on duty June 3rd, 2022 at approximately 12:40 a.m.?
Yes.
And did anything happen that early morning that led you to issue this citation, ticket number U635-02822?
Yes, what drew my attention to the location is there was loud music playing in the location, in the area. So as I was driving around, I found that it was coming from that location. So.
And specifically, do you recall the address of the location?
If I can refer back to my ticket, I can tell you the exact location.
Your Honor, may the witness refer to his ticket to refresh his recollection?
First.
So that'd be 13839 Conant.
And the people would like to introduce a photograph of this particular address. May the people introduce this particular address for identification purposes.
Ms. Roki.
No objection.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, let me go back. Okay. And Sergeant, does this appear to look like that location?
Yes,
Is this a commercial building?
yes, it is.
And is this within the city limits of Detroit, Michigan?
Yes, it is.
And while you didn't take this picture, does this address reflect what you believe or what building you investigated that day?
It is.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, and what happened when you arrived to the location?
It appeared upon entering into the parking lot, it appeared that it was open for business due to the vehicles that was in the parking lot, and it was a security guard monitoring the parking lot.
And
So,
Your Honor, and I don't mean to interrupt, I just want to, so we can do this together with the video. The people would also like to introduce a approximately 4.5 minute video, and we'll just walk through it so that we don't have to keep referring back to it. And what is this video reflective of, Sergeant Cummings?
this reflects the my interaction with the defendant and my initial entering into the location, and it also shows that how the place was set up, that it was indeed for retail purposes.
And where was this video obtained?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I guess I would ask, is this your video?
It's the property of the Detroit Police Department, but it's from my body camera
Okay,
that I recorded on the day of the incident.
okay. All right, and would you mind starting that video?
Yes.
And I
Give me
might
one
ask
moment.
you to stop just so you can narrate what was going on, or I might
Yes.
ask you a question.
Okay.
We'll be sure to try not to do any, rewinds.
Okay.
And
Can you see it?
I can see it. Can everyone see it?
I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. And so if you would start the video, and where is this location here?
The video, this depicts me driving into the parking lot of the location.
Is that your scout car?
Yes, it is. It's my scout car, along with my backup unit that was with me.
Okay, who is this here?
I just passed the security guard that was posted outside of the location.
And are you entering the location? Is this the rear?
This is the entry to the location.
Okay.
You'll notice my camera came on, and now you have audio as well.
And is that your hand on the handle?
It is my hand on the handle.
And if you could pause,
defendant.
could you pause that? Uh-oh. Well, who was that?
That was the defendant. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now, I just paused it again. I'm sorry. This is, if you notice, there's a display.
Let me ask.
There isn't a question before.
I'm going to
that,
ask a
Jim.
question.
I'm sorry.
Okay. And where is this at the location?
This is the main, once you walk in, this is the main entry area.
And what was in that glass case there?
In the glass case, you had marijuana displayed there.
Okay. And I'm just let me ask you questions and you answer them so we don't do anything that would be outside of the rules of evidence. So if you would push play again. And pause there. What do those appear to be? Or who are those people, or what do they appear to be to you?
They appear to be patrons.
Okay, and if you could go just a little bit, I did see someone behind the gentleman in the blue. If you can go just a little bit and then
Go
pause.
backward.
No, forward. I think we might be able to stop right there. Is that a person behind the
That is a
bar?
person.
And
That's
who
a
was that person?
He was actually engaging with the patrons back and forth. And he, based off the colors of the security and everybody was wearing, he worked there.
Okay, let's continue.
I just handed my man someone. Why are you walking back here, bro?
Who is that?
That's the defendant.
And who was that?
That's a patron of the location.
And I think we can go forward a little bit because this conversation isn't really about the defendant.
Let me see your CPL.
I don't know if you can, I don't want you to fast forward. It might go too far. And is that your part? Okay, here we go right here.
Let me see your ID.
What did he just say to you? What did you just
Then
ask him?
I asked him, was he the manager?
And how did he respond to you?
He stated yes. Yes,
And
he
who was
the
that?
manager. That's Mr. Rooks.
Okay. And if you could stop the video briefly. For identification purposes, do you happen to see that person in the virtual courtroom?
I'm gonna rotate my camera around and see if I can.
Okay.
Yes, it's the gentleman in a black Nike shirt.
Okay. And Your Honor, could you let the record reflect that the officer, Sergeant Cummings, has just identified the defendant for the record?
The record shows so reflect.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, if we could see more video, and I don't think there's more than maybe a minute or two, we should be through this. Okay, and Sergeant, if you could push play when you're ready.
Still, but I don't know where it's
Don't have a certificate for occupancy. You got a business license? Or you doing business?
Yes.
So where's the business license at?
Can you pause that? And what did you ask him about when you said business? What did you ask him?
I asked him, did he have a business license? And then I also asked him, is this a place of business? And he stated yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's move forward. And in this facility that you're in, did you ever see a business license
No,
displayed?
no. No business license prominently displayed. Or on a certificate.
Okay, thank you. And what are you investigating there that you have your flashlight on?
I'm looking for other drugs or anything like that. Any weapons.
Okay, and I would have you, okay, this is the interaction with the defendant, is that correct?
Yes. City of Detroit business license. Said you have the right to occupy a business in this location.
That you speaking?
State of Michigan. Yes. So at least that you don't have a business license, nor do you have a license to buy marijuana in the city of Detroit. Bro, you got evidence that says that you're a bud bar. You have marijuana behind the counter in a tote. It's the place that's providing marijuana to the public.
I'm sorry, could we have a clarification? Was that response not to the public?
I didn't hear you, ma'am.
Was his response to you not to the public when you asked him if he was selling marijuana to the public?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are you a licensed marijuana
Can you
provider
push
for the
pause,
state of
officer?
Michigan or for the city of Detroit?
Is that a city, were you presented with a city of Detroit business license to sell adult use marijuana right there?
No.
Okay, push play, please.
You have a license from the city of Detroit or the you have a license from the city of Detroit or the state of Michigan. Sir.
Please press pause, Sergeant. Now, what did he mention to you as far as what he believed what he was saying, his right to have this establishment?
He said that he had a federal clearance.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I mean, thank you, Sergeant. I think we only have about 30 seconds to go.
In addition, the federal government doesn't overstep states. Or doesn't overstep local.
Okay, and you can stop the video. Thank you, Sergeant. And when you just 3 quick questions. Sergeant, when you arrived to the facility and walked in for your investigation, was there any indication that marijuana was in that building?
Yeah, it was a strong odor of burnt marijuana coming from the inside of the location.
And what made you believe that marijuana was being sold?
Upon entry, and you see the bar area, and then you see the banner off to the side that says Buds. It gave a name and what it was, and then you look in the display case, it was displayed different marijuanas in that case.
Okay, and let's
And
see. Let's see.
Your Honor,
And
I object that that any of this was marijuana if we don't have any evidence that it was tested and proved to be marijuana. I don't think it should be the officer's just identification by his eye should be sufficient here.
well, the people have also had this witness testify as to his training and what he in his identification of marijuana.
I don't believe his training would suffice as a chemical test results. We have a whole lab in the Michigan State Police that tests these kinds of things. And I don't believe the officer is qualified by his eye to do the job the lab does. So, I mean, I understand that that's his assumption that it was marijuana, but for going as far as the evidence concerned, I believe that's not relevant or not acceptable.
And we believe the officer has, after 20 some odd years of experience, know what the smell of marijuana is and has been trained to identify marijuana and did so at this location, Your Honor.
Well, can you lay more of a foundation? I mean, I know he's testified to having the experience of knowing the smell of burnt and unburnt marijuana. That's what he's testified to. And then having narcotics training and then doing a number of narcotic arrests You know, I'll allow the testimony, as the fact finder, I'll determine how much weight I'll give it.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I had one last question. Were you ever presented with an adult use marijuana license for this established by the defendant?
No, I was not.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Any cross?
Yes, good morning, officer. So
Hello,
on
ma'am.
the day and time in question, did you take anyone in custody for purchasing marijuana from this
No, I
establishment?
did not.
Because if someone did purchase marijuana from an unlicensed establishment, it would be illegal, correct?
That's correct.
Did you arrest any, or did you view anyone purchasing marijuana at this location?
No, I did not.
And you indicate this place appeared to be a marijuana dispensary. Did my client ever indicate to you that he just leased this place?
He indicated he leased the place, yes.
And he wasn't the original, he's not the one who set that place up?
No, that information, no.
And did you take any evidence with you out of the establishment that you believed was illegal? Any narcotics, anything else?
Any marijuana? With the new law of marijuana laws, no, I did not. I
And
left it in place.
did you take a photo of any of this evidence, a close-up photo of any of these things you're claiming to be illegal?
It was on my body camera, ma'am.
So the photos we saw are the best evidence you have as photos of what you believe to be illegal contraband.
That's correct.
And how long did you observe this location before you went in to investigate?
How long did I observe it? I sat across the street from the location for approximately 10 minutes, waiting on my backup unit to arrive.
And was the defendant cooperative with you?
Yes,
And did he indicate to you that he wasn't using this as a commercial marijuana establishment?
he said that he was tribal, and it showed me forms about tribal law on having marijuana in a location.
So, officer, I asked you to stop the video and clarify what he said, and you asked him if he was selling, selling marijuana, and he said no, isn't that correct? That he wasn't
You asked-
commercially selling marijuana, is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Your Honor, I have nothing further from this officer.
Any redirect, Ms. Horn?
You testified that it did appear to be a business, correct?
Yes,
And he stated that it was a business, correct?
yes,
He also stated that he was the manager.
yes.
Okay, thank you, officer.
Thank you.
All right, any additional witnesses?
Mr. Rooks?
Yep.
We have I'm sorry.
Do you have any additional witnesses, Ms. Horn?
None, Your Honor, the people rest.
All right, so,
Mr. Rooks, you don't have to testify at this point. It's up to you. Would you like to testify?
Yes, I would.
Could you state your name for the record?
Jermaine Rooks.
And you recall, do you know of this business or this building that the officer's talking about?
Yes, I do the business, a building.
I'm sorry,
Yes, I do. Building that I lease.
you had a lease with the building, and when did you obtain that lease?
May. I probably the lights up a week later.
Can you guys understand him?
Not,
you said he was licensed in May, like a week, did you say? And then the police came a week later, is that what you said, Mr. Rooks?
Yeah, I claimed lease in May 2nd and probably got the utilities cut on maybe like a week later because I had to use the lease to do that. But yes,
And what was this establishment before you entered into that lease?
was a like, type of dispensary or some type of facility for that.
And what was your intention when you obtained the lease? What were you going to do with the building?
Set it up for a research and development lounge.
A research and development lounge?
Yes, it was already set up. It was a pretty good lounge to set up my research and development.
Had you sold any marijuana from that location? Under your direction, did anyone,
Your Honor, his phone continues to go in and out. And I'm not sure if Mr. Petway is able to get the record or if he's hearing the same thing.
Right.
Mr. Rooks, can you repeat your answer, please?
Can you repeat the question?
Mr. Rooks, did you sell marijuana to anyone out of that establishment?
No.
And did anyone who was working for you sell marijuana out of that establishment?
No.
And was it ever your intention to use that establishment as a medical marijuana or a marijuana facility and sell marijuana from there?
No.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Rob?
Isn't it true you're the manager of that business?
I leased the building, so came in and asked me the question. I did reply that I was the manager of the building, so I don't really call myself as a.
And is that, and you lease the business, the building for your own business, correct?
Yeah.
You leased this building approximately May 2nd of 2022, is that correct?
Yeah. We together, yeah.
And this ticket was issued June 3rd of 2022, almost a month later. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Do you have a business license for your business?
My company is LLC. If that's
But do you have a City of Detroit issued business license for your business?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
You believe so, or yes or no? And this is at the cost of penalty and perjury. You either have one or you don't, sir. City of Detroit business license.
Clear of what you really are asking for, a business license. This is what I have for the city. It's, I have all my ID numbers and everything. My business is registered with the state, if you could see that.
So it's safe to say, it's fair to say that you do not have a City of Detroit issued business license from the Department of Building Safety and Engineering.
The building is clear by the building inspection people. I have I sent in everything on that. So I really
Okay.
don't care what you asked for. I'm sorry. I don't.
No, keep going. I don't mean to interrupt you, Mr. Brooks. I'm sorry. Okay, so it doesn't appear to the people that you have a City of Detroit business license. And this is what this ticket is issued for, to sell marijuana in the city. Did you ever sell marijuana out of that facility?
Never.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, nothing further. We rest.
All right, any rebuttal witnesses, Ms. Horn?
None, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay, closing argument.
Closing is the people have established that Mr. Rooks was running a marijuana business. There was marijuana stored in casings that looked to be for sale. There appeared to be patrons there consuming marijuana, and the lease was started a month before this location was investigated for the noise. That was the probable cause that led Sergeant Cummings there. A whole month had gone by and it was set up like a dispensary. Even Mr. Rooks stated that previously before he got there, it was set up for a dispensary. No, and it doesn't appear any changes have been made. He didn't admit that any changes have been made to change the use of that facility. He said it was a business. He said he was the manager, but he also has not provided a business license, and the people don't see one being in the system. Our officer knows this location to not have a business license specifically for selling marijuana. Mr. Rooks himself couldn't even admit that he was searching. He had a City of Detroit business license to operate it as an establishment for use for adult marijuana. The people believe that we've proved that this facility is being used as a medical not a medical marijuana, but an adult use marijuana facility without a license. And also, it is immaterial as to whether there was something that Ms. Soroki said about people not being arrested. The officers have full discretion as to who they will arrest or not. Also in the video, he mentioned that he had federal rights. Well, let the record reflect that federal marijuana is still a controlled substance classified as one. So technically in federal government, marijuana, be it medical or otherwise, is illegal. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Soroki,
Your Honor, in response, I'm going to ask the court to dismiss this matter. There's been no evidence that marijuana has been sold. The officer himself couldn't say it had been sold. He didn't witness any transactions. He didn't see anybody come out who had marijuana in their possession who indicated they had purchased it. I mean, there's no evidence of any sales. I understand that he's assuming certain things, but he can't back it up with evidence. Furthermore, he may have believed what he saw was marijuana. There's no evidence how it was packaged, that it was packaged for sale, that it, and any of those things. My client has a right to run a business. He may not have had an appropriate business license at that moment, but this license they're talking about is for this medical marijuana use or marijuana use. And there's no evidence that was been going on there, Your Honor. I think that the officer could have done a better investigation. If he really believed this was going on, he could have had some pictures of what was going on in the cases, had some of the drugs tested, and actually witnessed a sale. And since none of those things are present, I don't believe the people have met the burden, and I'm moving for dismissal.
any rebuttal argument?
No, Your Honor.
The court's heard from two witnesses. First witness being Sergeant Cummings, Detroit Police Department. He's been there for 22 and a half years. He's received extensive training in city ordinances and marijuana facilities in regards to city ordinances. And he's received narcotics training and has done a lot of narcotics arrests. He knows the smell of burned or unburned marijuana. On June 3rd at 12:40 a.m., he was working on duty, noticed some loud music coming from the address of 13839 Conant in the city of Detroit. It was a commercial building. When he got to the parking lot, it appeared to be a building open for business. There was a security guard in the parking lot. And then we had an opportunity to observe Sergeant Cummings' body cam. In that video, the officer, Sergeant Cummings, did ask Mr. Rooks if this was his business. Mr. Rooks did, in fact, say it was his business, that he had a business license, but I honestly, I can't remember what answer he gave, but no business license was ever provided. And there was certainly no business license to sell any marijuana. The testimony of Sergeant Cummings was that it appeared to be a business. And the defendant, Mr. Rooks, stated that it was a business and he was in fact the manager of that business. Mr. Rooks testified that he had leased the building in May, and the building was an establishment for research and development lounge, and that he had no intention on selling marijuana and using it as a facility to sell marijuana. That was pretty much the gist of his testimony. It does appear, I mean, Mr. Brooks had made admissions kind of throughout the video that this was in fact a business. And the court does seem satisfied that Sergeant Cummings, because I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know marijuana or to smell it or to recognize it. I mean, especially with Sergeant Cummings, his experience, I'm pretty sure that he knew, I'm pretty sure that he was pretty sure that this was in fact marijuana. So based on the evidence that is presented, and it looks like your client has a question, Mr. Soroki. Ms. Soroki, I don't know if you want to answer his question.
Oh.
The report is making it through, but it does appear that it has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Rooks was operating an adult use marijuana establishment without a license. So the court will find him guilty. We'll proceed to sentencing. Ms. Horn?
Yes, Your Honor. Uh-oh.
But
As the sentencing, Ms. Horn, do you have a position?
As far as any recommendations, for the people would ask for a 6-month probationary period, just simply to ensure that this is, if upon further investigation, this is not continued. But that's just a recommendation, Your Honor.
Mr. Roby?
It's not like it's a delayed sentence, so, you know.
Your Honor, I'm just going to ask for a regular sentence. I don't know why this would be set for review. The police drive by there every single day. I'm sure Sergeant Cummings has been by there back again. Just ask for minimal fines and costs to be imposed.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think I misspoke, you know, looking at it like a delayed sentence. No, you're right. I agree.
Mr. Rooks, was there anything you wanted to say, sir?
yes, it was the NBA finals that day, and I invited some friends out to watch the NBA game and make them some food. So it wasn't open for business. It was the finals, and I just had a couple of my friends come through and just cater food. So that's all that was that night. It was NBA.
Okay, well, the court is going to, as the sentencing, the court is going to waive any fine and no probation, and you're done. I guess it's kind of like a warrant and dismissal. I don't know if they have warrant and dismissals here, like juvenile court, but
They don't.
well, it's closed out. So you're all set, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you, Sergeant Cummings.